1804, the first telegraphic message was sent. James Polk became the 11th president, and New York had a troubled literary genius who immortalized himself with just one word: nevermore.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore."
That iconic poem, The Raven, was written here on 84th Street back in 1844 when Edgar Allan Poe rented rooms in a two-story farmhouse which once stood nearby Broadway here 165 years ago. Poe moved to the city to work at the New York Evening Mirror, in which he published The Raven, and when it hit the street back in January of 1845, Poe became a household name overnight. So if that farmhouse remained here, that most certainly would be a Where to Go New York place. But it's where Poe would live the remaining years of his life that makes our next stop a Where to Go New York spot, what is known as the Poe Cottage. Just a 45-minute subway ride to the Kingsbridge stop in the Bronx, and you can visit this beautiful cottage right behind me. This is where Edgar Allan Poe lived from 1846 until the time he died in 1849. It is here that he wrote Annabel Lee, The Bells, and his cosmological epic poem Eureka. Edgar Allan Poe's life is immensely interesting, so I highly recommend checking out this unique part of New York history where this great American author and poet once lived. Not only did Poe shock us with such stories as the fall of the House of Usher, Ligeia, the Black Cat, and the Gruesome Berenice, but he also invented the modern-day detective story in The Murders in the Rue Morgue with his keen and imaginative character C. Auguste Dupin, of whom Sir Arthur Conan Doyle directly modeled Sherlock Holmes.
Nevermore.
Poe moved here because his wife Virginia was in the later stages of tuberculosis, and he thought the rural atmosphere would help assuage her pain. However, she did die in 1847, a year later after they moved in. Poe's pain from his loss and his love for her is so captivated in the poem Annabel Lee.
It was many, many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden lived, whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. This maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me.
Tours of the cottage are conducted on the weekends, and you'll see inside where Poe worked, his library, his furniture, and where Virginia died. Check out the Bronx Historical Society's website for more information. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who was a champion of Poe, said it best. Edgar Allan Poe threw out the seeds from which so many present forms of our literature have sprung. I'm Dylan Maulucci with Where to Go New York. Now, you know where to go.